Well, hey there, friendships. Welcome back to Curtis' Corner. If you're new here, hi, I'm Curtis, this is my corner, and on today's Movie Monday, we are going to be talking about The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So if you are interested in hearing my thoughts and my opinions on this prequel to the original franchise, then keep on watching. Before we jump into things, be sure to give this video a like if you like movie reviews. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for weekly videos and hit that notification button so that way you know when I post a video. Also, in the description box below, you can join my Patreon for only $1, the lowest price that I can make it, just for you. You get early access to all of my content that I am putting out before it comes onto YouTube, and you get to help influence the content that I'm putting onto my channel. Link is below in the description box. Please join. I would really appreciate it. Now, let's get on with the review. So, like I said, this is a prequel to the original Hunger Games trilogy or quadrilogy movie-wise. It had a lot of promise, but I found that it failed to kind of deliver what is expected from this franchise. There were lead-ups to points that never really got fleshed out and were very glossed over. There were story plots that were zoomed past. There was no explanation for things that have happened, and when you're not explaining the things that happen, this is the same thing that happened in the Marvels, you kind of lose out on that character development to make a character either more likable or help you understand where they are coming from in the long run. The runtime of being just over 2.5 hours isn't necessarily a bad thing, but with the amount of stuff that they're putting in here, you actually feel this time going by. Whereas in the original films, it's over just as fast as it started. You don't feel the time because you're invested in these characters, you're invested in what's happening, and they failed to deliver that on this aspect of the film for this prequel. They want to give you a lot of exposition and a lot of explanation as to what's happening behind the scenes, and I feel like that's where it really faltered. It had a great idea to do that, but it really faltered it and made you really feel how long this film actually is. Viola Davis as a villain in this new film was great, but she didn't seem as threatening as it seemed like she was going to be in the trailers. She didn't have a lot of screen time in this, and the time that she does have her screen time, it's very underwhelming. She herself did a fantastic job at portraying this character, but the character herself just didn't feel menacing, whereas President Snow in the original had that overbearing presence of just, he's evil, you hate him. Same goes for Peter Dinklage's character. You go on this emotional kind of turmoil struggle with his character, but for most of the time in this film, he just is an unlikable character, and there's not really any redeeming qualities. And I feel like they tried to toe that line of, do we like him, do we not? But he's just kind of annoying and in the way. Rachel Zegler as the co-lead of this film was fine. I found she definitely did not fit the atmosphere that this film was going for. She very much felt out of place, and I don't know if that's actually the vibe that they were supposed to be going for on this, because with Jennifer Lawrence's Katniss, yeah, she was obviously not as thin as the character is described in the books, but she still felt like she belonged in District 12, whereas this character of Lucy Gray, she doesn't feel like she belongs in this district, and she kind of alludes to the fact about that in the film, but also kind of also goes against what she's alluding to and shows that she is part of it, so it's kind of a very confusing aspect on that. Her character also comes off as a little bit conceited at times, like she thinks she's better than everybody, and the choices that she makes and how she speaks to people is very shifty. Like it's you're not sure what kind of a character she is. Like, is she to be trusted or is she not? As for Tom Blyth as Coriolanus Snow, he's an 18-year-old President Snow before he is the president. I thought his performance was excellent. He outshone every single person in this film, and that's because this story centers around him. He got a lot of screen time, a lot of character development, but not enough to show you where he was going to be leading up to become president. When he is eventually kind of getting into the zone of becoming the president, where you can kind of see his mindset going towards that, it's very rushed, it's very abrupt, there's not really a good lead up, and the promotion for this film was talking about like how he is before the Snow that we got to know, and we're going to be able to rewatch the original films and understand kind of where he's coming from, but it doesn't really show that. It still shows that he's kind of an unlikable character, and you're still wondering, okay, well, where was this lead up? One aspect I really didn't enjoy was the fact that they kind of borderlined as well, making this into kind of a musical. I should have kind of understood it with the title Songbird, but not what I wanted in a Hunger Games film. It kind of takes you out of the experience of what is happening in this film, and that causes a detriment to the film as well, because anyone who loves the original franchise is going to come into this thinking it's going to be similar, and then they're going to be blasted by at least 6 to 7 songs from Rachel Zegler's character of Lucy Gray. And it's very thrown in there. It's kind of out of place. It doesn't mesh well with the world that they are building, and it just brings you out of any type of threatening, overpowering feeling that you're getting in any of the scenes or the film as a whole. One other thing that I really don't like about this film is the fact that District 12, a lot of the people all of a sudden have this like southern Texas accent, which was never apparent in the first one. Like, it was like a slight twang to certain characters here and there, but it's like everybody, like your stereotypical southern accent, it's everyone in this district. Now, with all that being said, I do see a promise for this franchise in the future. I do see them making other sequels to this one, maybe focusing on what happens after this film directly with Coriolanus Snow. But I can also see, because this is set 64 years before the original film, there's 64 years of Hunger Games that we have no idea what happens throughout them. Even if books aren't made, they can make their own stories in film to kind of flesh out this world a lot more and explain different characters' families from before, why they are the way that they are, how even an original film to show why the districts are separated into districts instead of being already separated. You could even spawn another sequel to the original franchise showing what happened after everything happened, with Katniss kind of ending the Hunger Games. Did she actually end the Hunger Games? Or is there going to be a type of uprising that's going to restart them? There's so much in this world that you can explore, and there is promise for that. Not to say that there's any lead-ups showing that there could be anything, like there's no hints or anything in this film. There's no mid-credit scene, there's no post-credit scene, nothing. It's just with how big this franchise already was, and now they're doing this film, it's going to skyrocket again, and people are going to want to see more. So with all that being said, I'm going to give The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes a C. Nothing fantastic. It's very mid-tier, brought down by some interesting choices made by characters and writing, but overall it adds to some of the story elements from the original that we never got to see or hear about. So hopefully you enjoyed my review. If you did, make sure you give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for weekly videos and hit that notification bell so you know when I post a video, because if you don't, how else are you gonna know? You won't, so do it. Hopefully you're enjoying my channel. Hopefully you're enjoying the content that I am putting out. Again, join the Patreon down below, $1 only. You get to influence my channel and what I put out. But until the next video, bye friendships.